I'm on your side, though. I understand.
Thank you. Speed. Weakness in numbers, right?
All right, we're rolling. We have speed.
Oh, by the way, because we're doing an open-end interview
We're all
for all
human.
of Canada, geez, I hope so.
Yeah.
May I ask you, with your cooperation, the first question, to describe your character so that we set this up for the other people who will be using it, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
To you or to the camera?
Well, to me. We're in it together.
Okay. So, okay. Now?
Rolling?
Yes.
My character Kip is Warren Beatty. My character Kip is Warren Beatty's character's a lawyer, agent sort of guy who tries to get him work and is trying to get him to marry the rich girl who can really help our career. And that's who the character is.
Garry, will you tell us about the first meeting? Was the first meeting regarding Love Affair with Warren Beatty?
The very first meeting regarding Love Affair was with Warren Beatty and Glenn Caron and Annette Bening at lunch on the Warner Brothers lot at the commissary, much like a movie. And I had met Glenn Caron before, the director, but I'd never met Warren before, and I'd actually met Annette before. So I sat down at lunch, and Warren and I immediately hit it off, and we did not talk about the movie very much. I think the intention of the lunch was to see if we had any chemistry, whether we could really communicate and that sort of thing, because really you can only bring to the screen basically what you have in real life. And so we hit it off and talked about the part. He never showed me a script, never made me read, never even showed me the pages of the scenes that I did ultimately until just a few weeks before. And then I knew that he had looked at a tape of the Larry Sanders Show and liked that, and then hired me days later after the first meeting.
One of the wonderful things about what you give us in Love Affair as Kip,
right,
is that it makes one think of extraordinary actors like Gig Young or Jack Carson. And what you are giving is Gig Young's charm.
I see.
His presence. And Jack Carson was the guy who was always the guy the other one turned to and said, what am I going to do?
Right.
And there's a lot of Jack Carson and Gig Young in your Kip.
A friend of mine who saw this said there is a sense of, which is of course the sense of the movie, a throwback to those actors who are very much like you're describing. I can never see myself objectively enough to really comment on how I see it. I mostly don't like myself, so when I watch myself, I sort of can't give myself the credit that the role even sort of really works and fits the movie. I'm always consumed by whether or not the work is honest enough. I would say, in direct response to that, you know, the kind of acting that I'm struggling to do is honest and not necessarily anything but honest. And so many of those kinds of actors were, I think, very honest in their work that you're describing. So I take it as a huge compliment, and I appreciate it. I think there's also a little Sylvester Stallone mixed in there somewhere.
Oh, you're just saying that because your pal from drama class, Sharon Stone,
yes,
whom you revealed, Garry Shandling, as a woman of style, humor, very smart, and aware of who she was and what she represented.
Right.
When I sit and watch Love Affair, and I watch Garry Shandling, and I realize that when you arrived in Los Angeles, more than 15 years ago, you wanted to act. You joined the great, late Roy London's group classes.
That's right.
And Sharon Stone was one of your fellow pupils.
Right.
So don't fool around with this Stallone stuff. You're just doing that because you want to be a specialist, aren't you?
I just would like to do some more violent kind of roles and some more masculine kind of roles. But
are you prepared to go naked?
You know, at the moment?
No, for the roles.
Because don't frighten me. I'm an open man and I support whatever, but I can only go so far when I first get to know someone. the late, great Roy London, who was my acting teacher and who passed away about a year before this role, less than a year before this role, and knew that I had the role and passed away before I got to work on it with him, influenced me enormously in every creative thing that I do. And to have to do this movie without him there to rely on was difficult. And I look down because I'm very emotional about I was very close to Roy London, the acting coach, and I met Sharon in Roy's class and through Roy's class, and then she was nice enough to come on and do the Larry Sanders Show, which she was hilarious in. And what else?
When you say that, and you say that acting is hard for me because I'm still learning to feel instead of verbalize.
That's right. That's right.
Where are you now?
Well, you know, I think I'm getting better at it. I find myself having to cover less with my comedy than I used to, and I'm able to sort of. I think I'm growing, and look at me. I'm staring at the ceiling. Doesn't that say everything? I mean, you know, one of the exercises I did preparing for this part was playing these scenes with another acting teacher of mine, not speaking any of the words, and playing the whole scene with no words and seeing where my actions would take me. So that's a challenge for me because, you know, my neuroses pushes me up into my head, and the comedian part pushes me into saying something funny. So it's tough just to stay right in there. And that's why it's a challenge for me, and that's why I wanted to act, because I think I can grow as a person through it. Maybe not. Well, let's hope I can. Well, you make me uncomfortable. I don't know why.
Why do you think?
I don't know. I have a couple of ideas. I'm not sure. Am I the only one that says that? Am I the only one who's actually said that?
To me, in the middle of an interview?
Yeah.
Yeah, so far in my life, after 20 years of sitting across from people. I just thought that as a man who has maintained along the way.
Along what?
Along the way, that one of the premises of Larry Saunders, and I'm not minimizing ACE Awards or Emmy nominations.
Don't ever minimize an ACE Award. It is the cable award, the highest award anyone can ever win.
And you have 4.
I don't keep track, but I think it's 5. I don't know how many it is. I keep them in the refrigerator.
I'm smiling at you while you're regarding
pain.
Me. Not at all. It's a matter of truth with pleasure, because I admire what you've done. You said that you couldn't bear bad behavior, and that part of what Larry Saunders was, you were showing models of bad behavior which people indulge in all the time.
Right.
You can't bear the hypocrisy of show business, or the hypocrisy of people who pretend they're talk show hosts and care.
Right.
Has it occurred to you that I genuinely care about what I'm saying to you or what you've done with your life?
Well, it appears that you generally care, and that might that might be part of what makes me uncomfortable. But why would you genuinely care? Why would you genuinely care about my life and my career?
Well, I suppose as someone who turns on a television or goes into a movie theater.
I mean, you don't really genuinely care. You care as part of your job, as part of, and as a human being part cares as part of your job. But I'm sure if we were walking down the hallway, you wouldn't want to know my deep fears.
I don't think Garry Shandling, you'd offer them, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh yes, I would. Was just talking to the elevator man about my relationship problems.
Yeah, but he's someone who can really take you places.
He's really someone who can
lift you higher.
In fact, it was while we were just going up and down endlessly that I said, "Hey, that reminds me. Let's talk about my life a second." While we're stuck here between the 5th and 6th floor.
All right, Garry Shandling.
Which is, to a large degree, is what my life feels like, just going from floor to floor, getting stuck, going down a floor, going up another floor.
Well, maybe you should have stuck with engineering after all that
Maybe I should have
work.
taken the stairs.
With all the walking and jogging and fitness that you're involved in, I have something for you I want to ask you.
You're not stalking me, are you?
Not at all, sir.
All right, because I get the feeling you've been hiding out and keeping track of my life. That's what makes me uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. I mean, would you like me not to show my respect and say, tell me, Mr. Shandling, briefly.
Yes, sir.
What is your life about? I want to know how Garry Shandling will feel when Billy Crystal and the City Slickers team watch you in Love Affair and say, God, he's good. We should have given him the part in City Slickers.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something. I learned so much. I did an audition for City Slickers, and Billy's a friend of mine, and Bruno Kirby's a friend of mine, and I was in the room. I was in a room not much larger than this room we're in now, reading the entire script with them, and it just went wonderfully. And they said, we'd like you to come back and read it again, like a day later. And I got very nervous, and I made the mistake of getting very nervous, and honestly, the next time I read it, I was not good. And I did not get the part, and I didn't deserve the part because I didn't win the part. And I have friends who come in and read for me, and you are not doing anyone a favor by giving them a part before they're ready. And I probably wasn't ready, and I really learned from that experience and applied it to myself and my work for the future. I'm being honest with you. Did you read for City Slickers? No.
Can't ride.
A horse.
A horse. Well, we have Love Affair and your Kip while we wait to see you in Nora Ephron's Lifesavers.
I'm very tiny part in that movie. I have one scene at the beginning and then another little moment later on in the movie. Very small, but I wanted to do a scene with Steve Martin. I'm a big Steve Martin fan, and they called me and I said, I really want to do that.
All right, then hurry up with Michael Leeson, finish your screenplay on being an alien, and star in your own movie.
Well, I'm in the middle of writing this play of this movie where I do play an alien. It's all about life from a different perspective and the problems we deal with on this planet from a different perspective, and we'll see how the script turns out. I'm halfway through. I'll go back to LA in just a few days and dig in with Michael Leeson and continue writing while I eat my frozen yogurt. That's what I do.
And walk in the mountains and jog and keep trim. So you can do Stallone's next movie.
There's no reason that I can't do another. What would I really like to do? Maybe Warren and I will do some sort of wrestling buddy movie together. Tag team wrestling team, something like that.
Sort of Women in Love, the musical?
Something. I should do a musical.
You should. In the meantime...
You've opened up my world.
You've expanded mine.
Thank you.
I can't believe that you really are the guy who, when he turned 16 and his mother said as a favor, I'm going to buy you a car, and you said to your mother, don't spoil me. What a brat. You're a lot of fun. Why don't you just accept
I did
it?
say that to my mother. I did say that to my mother when I was 16. And she said, we'll buy you a car. I said, you're going to spoil me. But I knew she was going to buy it, so I could say that. If she wasn't going to buy it, really, after I said it, I wouldn't have said it. I'm no dummy.
It has been a pleasure being with you. Come back to Toronto.
You know, try and edit the part out where I spit all over myself.
Oh, no, we open
interview.
with that. Just like you open Love Affair and get the first big scene.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say it was vodka in an Evian bottle.
Do you think there was any point during that movie when you thought Warren was going to run away with me, my character? Because that was...
Not unless you really wanted his clothes.
Right.
With a lot of cashmere, a lot of Armani.
I would like to have those clothes.
Okay.
Those are nice. That's a nice wardrobe.
We'll speak to Warner Brothers.
Now, are you going to talk to Warren next?
Yep.
Would you give him my regards?
I'll consider it.
Okay, good.
How about Annette?
Yes, as well.
Okay, fine.
They're both delightfully charming people. I couldn't have had more fun, honestly. I got lucky. My first big experience was a good experience. And how many women can say that?
True. And be as prepared as you were for it.
I was ready.
Thank you.
But now I'm falling apart. I really must go.
Thank you.
Is that the window over there?